Welcome back. Christopher Nolan's Tenet brought in an estimated $20.2 million over the weekend in the U.S. and Canada. Matt Perrin shares his thoughts on the film in your Monday Movie Musings.
Welcome to a Labor Day Monday. I've been hoping that I'd be able to skip Mulan when Disney Plus released it, not only because I didn't want to pay extra on top of the subscription fee, but also because I don't want to aid in making the theaters obsolete. Luckily, the newest Mindbender from Christopher Nolan hit theaters this weekend, and I was able to make my way there, or based on the movie, I was able to make my way back to there. Don't worry, I'll try to explain in a minute. Emphasis on try. So without any further ado, here's my take on Tenet. Our film begins with the protagonist, played by John David Washington, and yes, his only name is the protagonist. After a Special Forces mission, he is captured and manages to take a suicide pill. Turns out this was a test, and he is recruited to a project with only one mysterious word: Tenet. He is taken to a remote location where he learns that some items, mainly weapons, are coming backwards to them on an inverted timeline. So in essence, when a gun is fired, the bullet actually sucks back into it, or an item will jump into your hand because in the future you dropped it. Yep. Only gets crazier from here. The protagonist sets out to find Andre, an arms dealer played by Kenneth Branagh, who is responsible for obtaining these weapons. Along the way, he brings in a partner, Neil, played by Robert Pattinson. The two infiltrate other arms dealers and attempt to gain access to Andre's warehouse. They then have to go through Andre's wife, Kat, to get to him. As the movie progresses, we now take a right turn at Albuquerque and into madness. At this point, our characters now have to reverse the time flow and start to go backwards while seemingly still moving forwards. In vertigo-inducing scenes, we see our characters fighting and interacting with characters moving in the opposite direction through time. It's visually stunning, albeit hard to process. At the climax, we see our heroes moving in both directions, and we as the audience wait to see the outcome, even though we have no idea what outcome we're hoping for. So, what to say about this one? First off, I have to see it again. And I don't mean that in a, it was so good I have to see it again type of way. I mean it in that when you get to the end or beginning, however you want to look at it, and you get a sense of what's happening, you then have to watch it with a basic understanding of the premise. Did you find Inception perplexing? Did Interstellar lose you in places? Well, this movie ups the confusion to the power of 10. Never have I been so enthralled and entertained by 2.5 hours of something I didn't understand in the least. You watch the first half of the movie and try to figure out what's going on. Then you watch the next 45 minutes of the film backwards and start to get an idea. Then you watch the climax forwards and backwards simultaneously, and yeah, does your head hurt listening to this? Because that's what it's like during that first viewing. I love John David Washington in BlacKkKlansman, and he continues his solid performances here, obviously making Daddy Denzel proud. It's always a treat watching Kenneth Branagh, but the real surprise is Robert Pattinson. I really enjoyed him in this. He has put Twilight behind him, and it gives me high hopes for the Batman. Once again, Christopher Nolan's attention to detail is amazing and leaves your senses stimulated with every frame of the film. The music seems to fit perfectly, and I haven't researched this yet, but I'll bet a lot of it is played backwards. So all in all, yes, it's a good movie, but like with all time-altering films, when it's over, it almost leaves you with more questions than when it starts. But I've been watching some online explanations and can't wait to see it again with this knowledge. But definitely save that for the second viewing. Go in with that blank canvas just for that mind-warping experience. This has been your Monday Movie Musing. Back to you.
Well, stick with us. Tyler has one last look at your forecast when the news at noon continues.